How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Doing another high school stream. I love AAU. I love all the high school scouting stuff. I'm just gonna tweet this out as always. But yeah, hope everyone had a nice day or having a nice day. Depending on your time zone. But yeah, we're gonna watch some of this AAU stuff from this weekend. UIBL is always awesome. One of my favorite scouting experiences generally. But yeah, Brad Beal Elite versus not
listing your vacation rental.
Yeah, Brad Beal Elite. Okay, why does this what versus Team Why Not? The big prospects are JJ Andrews 23 on BBE, Christian Collins 11 on Brad Beal, Jalen Mitchell 32 on BBE is a top ranked 2025 or not 25 2027, but good spin by Christian Collins. He is so damn explosive. Looks like he just missed that layup. I mean, yeah, crazy explosion, just point blank missed a layup. But he is good and explosive and one of my favorite players in the high school class. This Brad Beal Elite team is so much fun to watch. Trey Pearson, number 2, is like a really just skilled, crafty point guard. Andrews, 30. This guy, 35. Trayvon Carter-Givens, another sleeper big man I really like. Have watched. He's just like one of the most look at the wingspan, absolutely crazy. He's awesome. Good pass by. Oh my! And there's our first Trayvon Carter-Givens block of the day. I'd imagine we get quite a few of these. I think he's like one of the. I know he's one of the leaders in blocks. But yeah, this dude is a monster. Yeah, Jalen Mitchell is a fun, like, big handling type forward. Definitely. Christian Collins, big shot. Collins like 6'8", really fluid jump right there. That's some distance. Some good distance on that one. Really nice. Turnover. If you predict anyone, who's the guy who falls on draft night? Good question. I'll think about that. Plenty of guys who could fall, obviously. Andrews, his like balance and stuff is really cool. Collins is going to be a top 5 pick. I'm currently thinking Christian Collins is my 1-1 in the 2026 high school class. So certainly not disputing that take by any means. Ooh. I could see like a Fears falling maybe just because like teams don't have a fit for him or like, just like being a small guard. Maybe teams get scared of like the athletic stuff for Queen. Maybe like Malawash teams get scared of like just how raw he is. Jalen Mitchell. Oh my God! Look at. Thank you for that. But look at my guy Trayvon Carter-Givens right here, 35. He is so damn he's so damn long and explosive. McCoy, I'm less sure about just because his offense is pretty rough. Also, I don't think he's playing EYBL, which sucks. Sheik Pearson, pretty fluid mover. Yeah, I'm less sure about McCoy's status as like a top 5 pick, but it could happen. I'm not crazy. I'm not so crazy about it yet, though. Pacers. Oh my god, I hope so, man. I could really. It's. I feel good. I don't know. I feel better than I feel. I feel better than is comfortable about the Pacers. It's not a. It's a scary spot to be. Like I really want them. I need them to win this series so badly. Like so badly. And I really think they will. Again, maybe I'm coping or whatever, but I really do. Condon for the Pacers? Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Honestly, a lot of the like just good like late first big types like Hulk, Broom. I would like any of those three for the Pacers a good bit. Good steal by Trey Peterson, number 2. He's really good. Oh, I don't know about that call, but I think this is Jahadi White or is this Jakari White? I'm gonna pull rosters up so I don't have to keep doing this actually. But yeah, this Brad Beal Elite team is super fun. This was versus Why Not May 18th, and okay, that's Jahadi White. That's what I thought. Yeah. McCoy's defensive upside is crazy. I agree, but I just like am not gonna rank a defense first guard as like a top 5 prospect usually. But I definitely could change my opinion on McCoy. There's obviously a super long way to go until that until that draft actually comes, right? Yeah, very long way, but. Boozer, same level of prospect as Flag. Tick below, but probably same tier. I just say like other side of the same tier, probably. Like the I Flag being at the top of the tier and Boozer at the bottom of the tier. But Boozer is, I mean, he's definitely in that like area code for sure. Even if he gets kind of slept on by a lot of people these days. But he's just been around so long and been good so long. Like people are just tired of him. Good pass by Collins. Blocked by Jahadi White. Look at that. Look at him getting up. He's an impressive athlete. Quite impressive athletically. But yeah, I definitely like Jahadi White. I'm just typing in my notes right now. But comp and ooh. I definitely don't think Fleming is the level.
I'm pretty sure Taj Ariza is not dressed
feel to play the 5, and he's just like not. I don't think he's big enough.
He might be. I mean,
Allen,
I saw him at Nike
Allen
Hoop
is just
Summit.
like
he was dealing with a little lingering
one-off,
issues,
I think, in terms of
injuries,
movement skills, and he is bigger, and that matters.
With a little lingering issues, lingering injuries.
Yeah, I don't think Fleming is equipped to play the 5 at all. I'm stealing this from J. Kyle Mann. He compared Phylon to oh wait, the video is supposed to be off, thanks. But he compared Phylon to Mike Conley, and I kind of like that, honestly. Just like the same like jitteriness in the way that they move, really high feel. Obviously, Conley was never like a primary scorer, but he was a great offensive player for a long time. I think in that kind of mold, like as like a really, really great complementary guard on like a great team. I think Phylon is definitely has a crazy ceiling, even though his floor is probably lower than some other guys. But I would take Derek Queen at 3. I've been on the record about this. I will continue to say this, that they should take Derek Queen at 3. It's just like such an easy selection for me. Like I think Queen is the third best guy in this class. Sixers need more stars. They have the guards to pair with a player like Queen. I could see a case for Khan too. I think Khan would also be a pretty good option there too. As someone who also is just gonna like help them form a pretty ridiculous like offensive core. But I would take Queen. I definitely take Queen. Yeah. I kind of like Ace at 3. Like, even though I probably could steal by Collins, I probably wouldn't. But if you can get Ace to buy into like an off-ball role next to Maxey and McCain, like there's quite a bit of potential there. But yeah, no, I'm not crazy. Like I'm not crazy about Ace or VJ or Trey. Like these are all just like complimentary guys to me. And I think the Sixers especially, like in a very transitional period, right? Like you have a couple like clear foundational pieces, but you have like the Paul George contract sucks and Embiid is probably done. Like they need like more like cornerstones, and I think getting those guys like with even if there's some risk you could incur, like with Queen for example, who might not be like the safest player in the world, but if he hits, you're going to have a real needle mover. And that's something that's like almost always going to be worth it to me. Nice little floating jumper at Cameron Blivens. Yeah. But I like Chase Hawley too, number 12 here. Southern California kid. I mean, a lot of, obviously it's why not, but shouldn't be particularly surprising. But 3. Yeah, and this Mocan team just like has a bunch of good players. Not Mocan, BBE. Whew. Oh my goodness, crazy spin move right there, and a sick block. Like he is just Jahadi White, just like super thick and stout and hard to move with his strength, but also he's like light on his feet and quick off the floor. Good player. If Şengün to the athletic combine and test worse or similar to Queen, yeah, probably. I would imagine so. Need a mock from you? I'll have mock content for sure. I did a mock for Sports Kita last week that you can go check out. So that one is there. Yeah, I could see Harper in like a similar role to that, honestly. I mean, I think his ceiling is like a primary guy, but I think on like a part of why I think he's such a slam dunk is because he's going to fit really well next to like, a top 5 player in the world. Thoughts on the Yang first round hype? Don't buy it. He's intriguing though. I definitely would take like a second round swing on him, but do not buy the first round hype. No. Good spin move. How high am I on Taj? He's like a pretty long-term project to me. Definitely has some like intriguing physical tools. I've seen him play quite a few times in person, like very big, long guy. But yeah, I just think pretty far away in terms of like what he actually does on the court for like a good NBA or even like a college team. He should be playing in this game. I don't know if he's hurt or what's the deal, but okay, even though he doesn't finish, I love Christian Collins. Like the speed of that crossover and the fluidity at his size. Whew, good job just like powering through. There probably could have been a foul on this play, to be perfectly honest. But I just like Collins' explosion a lot. I love Topic. I think Topic is awesome. I think Topic is great, and I think he's gonna be a phenomenal Oklahoma City Thunder. I think he is like exactly what they need in like another real dynamic, like downhill creator. So I'm a big fan of his, and I think that obviously assuming like the health stuff is good, which of course if it's not, then that sucks and there's nothing to be done. But assuming he can get back to the level of burst he had at Mega, because like he was just so fucking quick at Mega before his injury, and then he just did not look quick when he came back, which is understandable. I mean, he came back early from like some sort of severe lower body injury. But yeah, I love Topic. I think he's gonna shoot as well. Like I feel good about his jumper projection. Great passer, like constantly at the rim, great finisher. He's gonna be great. I have no real qualms. I do love AJ Mitchell though. Also worth noting that Topic is like 3-4 years younger too, which of course is always important to remember. CMB falling, yeah, that'll be interesting. He's gonna be one that like is gonna be all over the place. I feel like I'm a Trey Johnson guy by like draft Twitter standards, but not by consensus standards. Like I think Trey in the top 3 is a little silly, but like some people don't have Trey as like a top 10 guy or like out later out of the lottery. I think that's also crazy. Like Trey to me is very safe. There's like very little real star upside with me for him just because of the driving stuff. But I mean Trey is arguably, yeah, probably the best shooting prospect in the class out, not counting like a Kobe Brea of like definite first rounders. And his passing is great and his handle is great. So I think he's going to be good. I don't think like I said, I don't think he's going to be a star, but I do think he's going to be quite good. Good drive and lay down again. That's Jamison White. Jamison White. Malik Beasley ++ with passing sounds like a really good player. I assume you meant that as a compliment, but it does sound like that's a very enticing player. Caden Bailey's also a solid player, at least offensively. But yeah, not a ton of JJ Andrews early in this game. I think I've watched like 2 or 3 of Brad Beal's games so far this UIBL session. He's been crazy in all of them. So I'm hoping we can get some good stuff from him. I mean, his defense is awesome. Just like look at him move up. He's like 6'6". I'm pretty sure someone said 7-foot wingspan with him, but I'm not positive. Just so damn fluid. For like he could be like closer to like 6'5", 6'4" without shoes. Honestly, that wouldn't totally shock me. Fears the pick for Washington. I'd like that. I don't know if they would, just like depending on how they view Bub. Like if they view Bub as like a long-term one, then maybe they don't. I mean, I wouldn't, but obviously have no idea what they think in their building. But yeah, I think the Wizards have like an open enough roster to where like a lot of different players could make sense there, which is a good spot to be, obviously. Oh my goodness. So crazy. But yeah, I love this Brad Beal lead team. Smooth looking jumper from Sean Madison. Always intrigued by like a jumper plus build type like Madison, like 15. Damn, great block by Collins again. I think there's another long, tall guy in Chief Pearson. Collins just like all over that ball. Quick second jump too. Just look at how fast he gets back off the floor. Man, he is really high level. I mean, he is just an impressive physical talent. And he's obviously really good at basketball too. Ooh, did Andrews get hurt here? He got fouled there for sure, but Trey Pearson's awesome. Isaiah Harwell. I like Harwell. I mean, isn't Harwell like a very highly rated recruit though? So I don't know, like, what surprise necessarily means. I do like Harwell though. I'm very excited to watch Houston next year. They're going to be awesome. Even if I doubt all of those guys play. Big move right there. There's so many athletes on both of these teams. So many long, athletic guys. What class are these guys? Most of them are high school class of 2026. So rising seniors, 17U, 2027 draft at the earliest if they're one and dones, which obviously most of these guys will not be, but a couple guys in this game could be also. So, but yeah, this is a very flat and weak 2026 high school class that doesn't really have a true like 1A superstar top prospect. But Chris, oh my goodness, they're throwing off my guy. I just want to be showing y'all Christian Collins is passing, but these freaking ads. They better pay me for running these ads on their stream for them. I should get a cut of these. I mean, you can see just like the way he moves and look at how like the shit angle there is crazy. Good live dribble pass, then a big finish there. Why not putting the trap on? Bailey. Yeah, this is definitely some high-level high school hoops. They switch Carter Givens a lot, which I always find impressive. Like they're hedging him a lot in this game. I guess because they don't really have the bodies to match up with the other guys. Like the big mismatches. Great drive right there. Just knocking Collins back. Very good drive. Good skip. And Collins is just going to get another wide open three. Nice. Yeah, I mean, just being the level of athlete that Collins is while also being able to really shoot the ball is just such a weapon. Job by Pete. Just like pivot. He loves his like over top, like whip passes. Did he make that hook shot? Yeah, there you go. Pearson's got a nice little hook shot. Good pass by TCG. Wet spot on the court. But yeah, the 2026 class like just doesn't have a legit star number one guy. Like Stokes is probably that guy like at the moment, but I don't think he has a like firm grasp on it by any means. Like I think it wouldn't shock me at all if someone else was like a consensus number one player by the end of the summer. Oh my goodness, what a block. Oh. God damn, what a block. Dude, I'm telling you, Trevon Carter Givens, I think he might be committed to LSU. A couple of my faves in this game, Trayvon Carter-Givens, 35, is one of my faves. As is Christian Collins on this Why Not team, who I think might be my number one guy in the class right now, 11 on Why Not. And then another guy on Brad Beal Leagues on the bench I really like, JJ Andrews. Another just either block or contest. Like Carter-Givens is dominating this game. This is how it's been for pretty much all of the games I've watched. Like he just dominates everyone because he's like 6'9", has like a 7'5" wingspan or a 7'8". I remember I posted his wingspan. I'll look it up right now. Givens from me. Yes, 6'9", 7'5" wingspan is absolutely crazy. And he's a great athlete too. Definitely one of the better bigs in the 2026 high school class. And there are barely any good bigs in the 2026 high school class. Like who even is the best big in this class? I don't even know. I'm trying to think of who the best bigs in this class are. Maybe like Mika Murinen if he doesn't reclass. Even though he's like spacey, but he's definitely a big. I like I can't think of his name who plays for who am I thinking of? Who plays for Iowa United? Arfan Diane? I don't know how to say his name, but he's good. It's a very weak center class. There's like barely any actual guys. But Carter-Givens is probably up there. Not the greatest decision there by Collins. Just like kind of a panic pass right there, I think. But yeah, Carter-Givens is really impressive. That was probably a foul. Yeah, he kind of like charged into him and then definitely got hand there. Yeah, that was all hand, but still a nice play by Jamison White there, I believe. Carter-Givens again. You could have. I'm trying to think of what the play was here. Maybe, he probably could have gotten there if he just like turned, but he was already turned the other way and just resets there. Oh, what an offensive board. Yeah, Sean Madison. I need these YouTube ads to stop right now. Please, I beg you. Who's turning the ball over here? Another steal by Madison. He's just all over the place right now. He's had a great first half. I've been quite impressed. Break this press. Oh, good no look by Trey Pearson. He's going to be an awesome like college point guard. Yes, Charles. I think that's exactly how it's going to be. That's a good comparison. I think that's exactly how the 2027 draft is looking at the moment. Obviously, it's really early and a lot can happen. Like, there's a lot of time until the 2027 draft and players will break out. But at the moment, we knew at this stage, we knew that 2026 and 2025 would be really special. But obviously at this stage of 2027, we just don't know that yet. But hopefully soon, like I said, hopefully we get more obvious breakouts, whether it's Christian Collins, who I'll certainly be pushing Christian Collins agendas this summer because he's just a beast. Fierro, I think I'm higher than like mainstream consensus, but lower than like some people on draft Twitter. Like I've seen some people on draft Twitter say that they think he's like a hidden star bet, and I certainly don't see that. But I do think he's like I have him like late teens, early 20s. I think that's like 10-ish spots higher than the consensus board. Because he is just like such a freaky athlete and driver, and his defense is going to be awesome. But yeah, no, I just think like the shooting and the processing and decision making in combination make it hard for me to view him as a legit star bet, unless he can just become like a high usage, like ultra efficient scorer on drives, which I guess maybe is like within his upper range of outcomes, but it seems pretty unlikely and just like hard to imagine. Like a deflection by Carter Givens. But yeah, that's where I'm at on Thiero. I like Thiero a lot, and I think he's a very cool player, though. So he's someone where like I could see him, I could like very easily envision him being like a great like 7th, 8th man. And someone I could see being a starter, but probably not much more. But I also think he's pretty safe because of his athleticism and his defense and his size as well. So like there's definitely that, which is nice if you're banking on Thiero, but definitely not as high as some people seem to be, though I do like him. He's fun. I think Bailey's listed at like 6'1", but the hair's got to give him an inch or two. Good bump, though, and good block by. Jahadi White is killing this game. Draft Twitter pushing Con top 3. Totally cool with it. I don't have. Oh my God, what a finish by Andrews. How did he make that? And how is that not? Oh my God. One sec. I think Con 3 is totally fine. Is there a world that he's Gordon? I just think Gordon is like such a special athlete, and was also bigger, that I think it's hard to compare. Gordon was also a pretty nice passer in college as well, and I think that's always been an important component of Gordon's. You know, I think Thiero could be something like Orlando Gordon, maybe at his ceiling, but I don't think he could be like Denver Aaron Gordon. And I feel like obviously, you're hoping that they can be Denver Aaron Gordon. But I think he could be like I don't know, like middling efficiency, high usage scorer, like maybe at his peak. But I don't see him having like the kind of impact like an Aaron Gordon does on a championship team. Just hard to imagine, but who knows? But maybe. But yeah, I think Con top 3 is fine. I have no problem with that. I have him in a tier that goes from like 3 to 6, so like I would get okay with him at 3, honestly. Like he is just such a like his combination of processing and shooting, or like I saw someone tweet this. I don't remember who it was, that like Khan is like the best combo of like processing and shooting he's ever seen, or at least in recent history. And I'm like, that's honestly like I get that, like because who are the other guys in that conversation? It's like LaMelo, Cade. In terms of like shooting ability and live dribble processing and playmaking, like there's just not a lot of guys like him. And I think Khan is a fine enough athlete in terms of burst to like get downhill. Like his vertical is obviously a big problem, and like he's not that strong, but I think his burst is honestly quite good. Like he's able to get downhill, and he doesn't have that much trouble getting to the rim. And then defensively, I think he's going to be fine enough with just his size and his feel and his positioning. But Khan I like because he's extremely safe, but I do think there's a world where Khan becomes a legit star on offense. Would absolutely love Khan to the Pelicans. Good step back by Andrews. He's a good space creator. Great step back. Con to the Pelicans would be a dream. Would be an absolute dream. Danny Wolf, I'm pretty low on Wolf, unfortunately. I don't see the vision. I just think he's extremely risky, and the ceiling to me is explosive drive by Collins. Ceiling to me just isn't all that high, like because of the athleticism and the decision making and like the turnover stuff is quite worrying to me, honestly. Like he could definitely be an interesting like hub role player where he's just like, you know, doing DHOs and like connecting passes and some like mismatch post scoring. But yeah, I just have a lot of trouble seeing how he like scores and creates advantages at the next level. And like if he's able to rein back his decision making in a scaled down role, because like if not, then he's not going to be playable on good teams. But obviously, you know, he could. It's technically possible. And his defense is like fine. I don't think it's horrible or anything. Like I feel like I've seen some people say like be really low on Wolf because of his defense. And like his defense isn't good, but like he's a pretty good mover, perimeter guy for a 7-footer. And he's not like a good interior defender, but he could be solid enough. But yeah, that being said, I think of Wolf as more of like a late first, early second swing rather than someone who I'd take high, just because I don't think there's like an appealing combination of floor. You know, for me to take a guy who I think has a low floor really high, like they've got to have a super high ceiling. But I don't think Wolf is the case. I much prefer Wolf to Raynaud. Yeah, I think the Raynaud hype is a little out of control. I definitely like get the appeal to some extent. Like the shooting, I think is fine. I don't think it's that good just because of how much he struggles to make guarded shots from anywhere, basically beyond the arc. Like the fluidity as a driver and like the shot making touch and the post and stuff is definitely impressive. And he can like do some of that same fluidity on defense, but like the physicality really worries me. Ability, you know, like keep his position as an interior defender, not even really just like post ups, right? But like catching the ball and holding it in traffic and not getting like moved off of his spot by bigger, stronger players. But Raynaud is again like someone who I think is a totally reasonable like second round flyer just because he is a 7-footer with real driving fluidity and he can probably shoot a little bit. But I certainly wouldn't take him in like the lottery, like I've seen people saying. Yeah, I've watched a little Coward. I watched the not Washington. I watched the Northern Colorado game, the Iowa game, and the Eastern Washington game from this year. I definitely came away a little confused by like the top 20 lottery hype for him, to be perfectly honest. Like, definitely seemed like a pretty interesting prospect, obviously. Pretty solid shooter. Didn't mind his passing as well. I thought he did some like interesting stuff as a processor, and he was just like really overwhelming physically against that competition, obviously. But still think there's much outside of just like shooting and the occasional like post score or connective passer. Just didn't seem like he had much juice as a driver. I did like the post scoring. I noted that I think that was pretty impressive and could definitely be something that carries over because of his crazy length. But yeah, I just don't really see the path for Coward to be like more than just like a solid starter. I don't really know what that would look like, honestly. Like maybe he's just like an elite defender, but he seemed like an interesting defender in like the 3 games I watched. But nothing like elite or special. He just seemed like, you know, he used the tools well. He made some rotations, was a little spacey and like overreactive on the ball. But I fear I am not buying the level of the hype. Like Kawhi in some of those highlights. Man, highlights can do a lot for people. You could put something I've always wanted to do but never been able to do is put together a board based solely on a player's highlights, but that's just like impossible because I have so much prior knowledge of these players that I can't get rid of even if I try really hard. But I think it'd be really interesting to see if someone like just did a, like only watched like one highlight tape, no stats, no anything, and just ranked based on that. Oh, yo, holy shit. First of all, great challenge by Jihadi White again, just coming up big. But like, holy shit, Christian Collins. Oh my god. He is unbelievable. This is high level hoops. Abdallas hype. I don't mind Abdallas. That did, yo, what's up, Laro? My goat. It did take some balls to challenge that. I always love a good, rim protector who's just gonna go up and try to block a huge athletic dunker, knowing that they might get posterized, but a good pull up from JJ Andrews. I think Abdallas is interesting. I honestly don't remember. I mean, I've mostly stayed off the timeline lately, but Abdallas, I don't think I've seen too much stuff about. But I think he's like an intriguing like second round flyer with his fluidity and some of the passing and the shooting flashes, but nothing crazy. I agree that I agree that Rashir is good, but I don't see him as like an Eason type because of the creation. Like Eason was an amazing creator prospect. Even though he's been obviously, scaled down at the NBA level, but Rashir is a pretty weak driver, even though he's a crazy athlete. I just think he's a little stiff, which also worries me a little regarding the driving. But I mean, I think Rashir is like probably one of the worst passers in the class among non-centers, I guess, especially. And his shooting is solid, like nothing special to me, but his defense is awesome and his tools are great. So I would definitely take Rashir in like the probably early 20s or maybe a little higher, but I don't buy like the lottery or anything that high with him. Another good drive, but good defense by Carter Gibbons, just like being in the area and contesting. But this is Jihadi White absolutely cooking today. I've always liked Stojakovic. I don't know if he's like much of a high level NBA prospect, but love his combination of like size and shooting and ball skills. And he's just a fun player to watch, like has a cool game. But probably not someone who I think of as like a real high level NBA prospect, unless he just makes like a big jump this year, which is possible, of course. Anything is possible. Andrews loves his spin move. Like he's pretty damn good at it too, but like tough shot. But yeah, someone said about Yannick. Buying Yannick, I honestly don't know what like the hype is on Conan, Yannick Conan. I don't really know how high people are on him honestly. I watched I think like two of his games. I watched two of his games. And yes, Tari improved as a finisher statistically significantly this year. It was up like 10% from his career average, if I'm recalling. I think it was like 50 to 60-ish was the jump. But someone can definitely check me because I could totally be wrong about that. But yeah, Yannick seems like a classic, like mid-late second round flyer for his tools and his like and his size and his athleticism and some of the shot blocking ability. Like he has some of like the most, his tape is an adventure, man. Like he is. I don't know if he's new to basketball, but he looks new to basketball just in terms of the way he like sees the floor and some like some movements just look so awkward. And obviously like offensively, it's just dunking at this point, but probably someone I take a flyer on at some point, like is just enormous. And like he owned Queen like a fair number of times in their matchup. Like he is just such an overwhelming athlete. Like it wouldn't totally shock me if he ended up being an NBA player, but just not someone I'm crazy about. But I will watch him more. Like I said, I only have like 2 or 3 games on him, and I will get more before. What's up? What's up, Hoops WDO? I don't know. I'm cool with Jameer as a first rounder. I have no problem with that. I have him close to there. I don't think I have him like in my top 30, but I don't like. I wouldn't bat an eye if a team took Jameer Watkins in the first round. Like he is just going to be good. Like all of his stats these last year or two are like so deflated because of the like crazy, high usage role he has to play on a crappy team. But yeah, I like Watkins a lot. I totally agree with that take. I think he's a lot better than he showed this year. And I think he's like, I love this for future role players, like gaining these skills by playing like, up a position, right? So it's going to be potentially easy. Yeah, I think Queen absolutely has an all NBA ceiling. Absolutely. I think Khan is a player worth trading up for. I guess depends on the price. I'm almost always against trading up. I think having more swings is so valuable. Like giving up picks, but like maybe if you could pick swap for him, just like giving up whole picks, like especially like without great protection, is always, and like Khan I like. But I don't think he's like so special. Maybe he's like falling really far for some reason, and you're a team that's like one piece away or something. I don't know what team would really need Khan, but I would probably not. Oh, Christian Collins, he's dominating. This game has been freaking awesome, as I hoped it would be, just based on the teams that we're playing. But yeah, just super impressed with a bunch of prospects here. Why do I buy Queen but not Wolf or Yang? Because Queen is an elite athlete and those guys are not. Basically. I mean, and I think Queen is just like, yeah, I mean, he is the only one of those guys who consistently creates advantages and, scores efficiently on self-created stuff. Like, I definitely think Queen is just like a next level creator prospect. And those players certainly have their own merits, but I don't think they're like creators by any means, especially not Wolf, who just, I mean, I think this was like evident, especially in the crazy step back. Whew. But yeah, Queen just has the like crazy, fluidity and burst and the special like change of pace with the ball and the handle that those guys just don't have. And honestly, very, very few players do have, which to me makes him rare and worth betting on. Oh my Lord Jesus. Oh my God, this dude is cooking. Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. Somebody acknowledge this. Holy crap. Man, this is high level hoops. High level hoops. Yeah, Queen is so fun. Who do you think the Nets take it 8? Good question. I don't know. I'm curious what Marks wants to do. I mean, we just like don't have a lot of like, they just haven't drafted a lot of players highly. Oh wait, what the hell happened? Okay, we're back. He just like drafted a lot of players highly, or like he hasn't drafted a lot of players highly. So I'm very unsure of what they do. Just like from the perspective of like a rebuilding team, you'd think like the guys like, you know, a Sangway or Bryant or Traore, he's like the young toolsy guys make sense there. I think Fears there is so ideal. If Fears is there, I love that for them. Just like get your primary initiator point guard of the future. Like you're not going to be good anytime soon. I like to, you know, have him with a coach who I trust. I think Jordy did a quite good job this year. But yeah, that would be Fears is so polarizing. I feel like there's a lot of really polarizing prospects this cycle. Fears, Murray Boyles, Sangway, Ace, obviously. I think Trey and VJ are pretty polarizing. Like Queen, who isn't polarizing? Like Cooper's not polarizing. Even Harper, I think, to some extent, but like I don't think he's as polarizing as the other guys. Like Trey, like Khan is not that polarizing. I think most people think Khan is good. Good enough by JJ. He's like he's so quick with his moves. Fears to Washington at 6 would like that a lot. Wolf needs the screens to get the advantage. That's part of the problem. Is like he can't do it without a screen. And even when he does, there are a lot of contested shots. Like, and Maryland just like didn't use like they had a weird roster and they never really used Queen as like a primary handler because they always had a bunch of guards. And yeah, I've heard the take that Fears is an overrated athlete. I could not disagree with that more strongly. And I'm going to have a video on Fears soon that I will, you know, make my case for him. But yeah, he is, like I said, very divisive. I think Fears' strength is awesome. His deceleration is phenomenal. The burst is crazy. I think the only trait he really lacks is just vertical, which like it definitely matters, but I think everything else is excellent. Cool disappointment, Pan. I'm glad you're here. Riley, I like Riley quite a bit, man. I really do. I mean, there's just like probably like a hard ceiling on him because of the frame and like the athleticism. It's just really hard for guys this far behind in terms of like frame athleticism, and like the wingspan isn't great for Riley to you know fully compensate for that. But like he is giant and he's a sick shooter. Yeah, he's a sick shooter. Honestly, like I am probably lean in on Riley. Like I don't like have him in the lottery, but I would get it if you did. And like the thing that I really like about Riley is how fucking physical he is. Like despite the fact that Riley is just like so frail, like he and could not move people ever, like he was always bumping and trying to like carve space with his shoulders and his chest. Like I really appreciate that from a player, and I think it bodes quite well. Yeah, I think the Fierce finishing concerns are very overblown considering like the roster and the kind of like usage and volume of tough finishes he had. I mean, there obviously are real concerns with him as a finisher. Like, I don't think he's ever going to be elite there, but I do think it's a lot. You know, I think the concern is quite overrated. Christian Collins, great defense. Like, this is a great matchup. Andrews is quite good at like getting to the front of the rim, but yeah, Collins just blanketed all over him. Please could he just like pulled up here? Riley going to Portland would be cool. If the Pacers drafted Raynaud or Wolf, I would be very sad, unfortunately, especially Raynaud. That would make me very upset as a Pacers fan. I think it's an interesting fit, though. I mean, like, I think obviously Raynaud makes sense in that offense, but honestly, like after what they've gotten out of Thomas Bryant this year, I'm like, I definitely want them to address big, but I don't think they have to go for such like a specific stylistic flavor. I think I trust their ability to make whoever work, but yeah, Riley. I made the Riley Halliburton comp last summer, and I do think the movements are similar. Obviously, they're different players, but like there is, yeah, I think they move similarly. I agree with that. Obviously, Riley's not that level of passer, and he's not as fast as Halliburton was, but he's taller and yeah, and still a good passer, even if not like Halliburton level. But he's a good passer for sure, especially for like a wing shooter. He's an excellent passer for a wing shooter. But yeah, I'll probably do another big Riley video at some point because I do think he's fascinating. He's a really interesting player. I do like Riley quite a bit. But yeah, we talked a little bit about Raynaud earlier and how I'm not quite buying the hype. At least as like a first round pick. I would be totally cool with him swinging. I'd be totally cool taking a flyer on him in the second round because he obviously has interesting stuff about him. Just wouldn't be super happy about that in the first round, especially if it's I feel like the Pacers are the only team that I really am gonna like feel some kind of way about who they pick, obviously. But if the Pacers took Will Riley, that would be phenomenal. I don't think he's going to fall that far, but that would be really, really cool. I think he could be sick in Indiana. And it would just be fun because he's like one of my favorite players to watch in the class. Yeah, he's just one who I'm also just so curious to see how his development goes because of how physical he is and like how like kind of unusual that is for a player of his build. So I think it can definitely be he can be quite good. I don't know if he has like real like all-star top 40, top 50 upside. But like Riley having like his free throw rate's above 30, right? I'm pretty sure it was above 30 this year. But like Riley having an above 30 free throw rate is definitely significant. Like that's a thing that I think it is representative. Like I'm sure Zaire didn't have a 30 free throw rate. I don't think Cam Reddish did either. Like it's a lot of these. Traore, Saraf, pretty even. Yeah, I still think they're pretty even. I would stand by that. I have been very pleased with Traore's play lately, though. He's looked awesome in the recent games, and I think he's a really good player. I think this happens all the time with international prospects because they play so many more games. Like they're bound to have more like ebbs and flows. Like there was a month when Share couldn't hit a shot and everyone was like he's horrible, and then there was a month where he was hitting 40% from three and everyone's like he's the next KD or whatever. Like these seasons are so long that I think like the statistical fluctuations just fool people, honestly. And I think Traore is a good example of that, even if I don't have as high of an opinion on him as I once did. But Saraf is also quite good. I mean, I just think Saraf, where I think Traore has like quite the high ceiling, Saraf, I'm not sure, but I just think like his handle is incredible and he's an awesome pick and roll passer. And even if he's just like a solid pull up shooter, I think that would be enough for Saraf to be like a solid rotational guard. Possibly a decent starter. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Look at JJ. Yeah, I mean, he is just so fun. I love JJ Andrews. Best prospect for the Bulls. I've given the Bulls Sorber a lot, and I like that quite a bit. I like Sorber a lot. They obviously need a lot of help in the front court. Honestly, any of the bigs I like I think CMB would be great for them. I like Queen. Queen would obviously be awesome if he fell for anyone, but I think the Bulls for sure make sense as a Queen destination. Oh, good play by Andrews. But yeah, I really like Sorber for the Bulls as just like a do-it-all big. Are you crazy for having Drake Powell top 3? Maybe a little bit, but whoever said not to be a little crazy sometimes? Probably a little bit, but I have seen worse prospects than Drake Powell get mocked in the top 3. I'll say that. So, I say go for it. I say go for it and stick to your guns. Because why the hell not? Sorber, like, well, I think the best Thomas Sorber comparison broadly that people tend to agree on is is Wendell Carter, but hopefully, magic Wendell Carter. Just like a really versatile, skilled big who could be a quite good defender. I think there's like some modern like Al Jefferson. I honestly I don't see the Sorber Onyeka comp. I don't really. I mean, I guess maybe with some of the post up stuff, like Sorber, I think was way slower, but more impactful as a rim defender. And I don't know. That's possible, I guess. That Bulls are cooked. How does Sorber? Yeah, like I was saying, I think Sorber was like much more of like a straight switch or drop defender than Onyeka, who was much more versatile and not as good of a paint defender, obviously. And Bam, I think, was just like a brick wall. Like he was just rocks. Like he was just a rock on defense. And big Tillman vibes. That sounds like a great player. That's good to hear, Lara. What game are you watching? Because I have been very curious about Tyrann after the season he had, but that's good to hear. I do. Yeah, I know Bulls fans are eternally cursed. I get it. The Colts are the Bulls of the NFL, so I feel you. I've declared that. But yeah, Stokes and Crow is a very fun duo with potential for a lot of nonsense, but also a lot of fun. Andrews is awesome, but Christian Collins has given him problems all game. Like he is such a monster. It's always great when you get these like real top prospect matchups and you can kind of as like a measuring stick, and they like guard each other a lot and that stuff. Yeah, I'd say that assessment of Murray Boyles is pretty accurate. I'm not as high on some people on draft Twitter, but I do think he's pretty good. Like I take him in the top 10, and there is some weirdo upside as a driver and with his feel and like strength and touch on the inside. But yeah, I just have too many offensive worries, and I don't think CMB is going to do much or like be a good center in the league. So yeah, it wouldn't shock me if Murray Boyles fell way too far. I mean, he's totally a guy who like could fall to 20 or something and just be a monster steal. Like that wouldn't surprise me at all. Best stylistic fit. Oh my God, file under the Pacers. Do not do this to me. That would literally. It wouldn't. I was about to say the Pacers getting LeBaron Philon would be better than winning the championship. It wouldn't. I do think Philon is like the prospect I'm highest on compared to consensus. And him coming to the Pacers would be unbelievable. Just because I love Philon. But I do think that fit actually is really good because Philon already can be like the connecting guard. He's great at getting downhill. His defense is much needed. Yeah, the Draymond comps are nuts. But comping anyone to Draymond is nuts, I think. Like, I guess like CMB is probably like the closest thing to him in quite some time, but that's like, still not that close, but probably is closer than like a Grant Williams was, or like I'm trying to think of like a Clark or. Fabulous results. I love to see your board. I'm sure it's wild. Drake Powell at 3, Philon at 7, which is not wild, by the way. I think that's totally reasonable, and I have him in that same range. Yeah, I need to see your board. I need to know what this is. CMB is like the perfect midpoint between Zion and Raekwon. Yeah, send it to me on Blue Sky, sure. Like the perfect midpoint between Raekwon Gray and Zion. Like I remember people used to joke about how Raekwon Gray was like if you zapped all of Zion's athleticism, and I think Murray Boyle is like a healthy, like a healthy medium where he like has the same play style, but like isn't a terrible athlete. He's just like a normal athlete. But I do think CMB being a better athlete would make me more confident like in him. But he's just like a very weird player, and I honestly don't have a problem with betting on weird players usually. Like I think that a lot of stars can come from that. So like again, I don't agree with Murray Boyle's like the top 3, but like I get it more than some other things that people have like top 3 or that range. Oh my lord. That was definitely a foul, I think at least. Yeah, he high-fived him, but is Murray Boyles a better defender than Flag? Certainly not to me. In that tier, probably. I mean, he's probably in the tier. But no, I wouldn't say. No, I think Flag is probably just like a level above because of his rim protection. But they're in the same tier. I mean, I think it's like Flag, Murray Boyles, and Noah Penda as like the real like elite defense potential guys in the class, or at least like of like the good prospects. JJ, good kick by Andrews. Brad Beal made this game close. This was an awesome game. I know we didn't spend a ton of time talking about the game, but it was great. I do like AAU. As I said, like I think I am a little higher than like mainstream consensus on Thiero, but like I just the feel is so important to me, and I've become like a little harder on like these non-shooting wings over the years. Like I do think it just matters a lot, especially in the playoffs. Unless you're like a real outlier in other ways. Like I don't think he's like a Peyton Watson level athlete. Adu is super fun to watch. Absolutely agree with that. He's a blast. But yeah, I'm just not the biggest fan in terms of like the star ceiling, but I do think he's going to be quite good. Asangwe's rim protection is interesting because I don't think he's explosive at all, which scares me a little bit for like the translation. But he is so obviously like the reach is crazy, and he's very fluid. So I think there's definitely potential for Asangwe to be like a very good rim protector, but I doubt he's going to be like an elite one. Asangwe's one again. I need to also keep watching because just the hype for him is getting so high, and I feel like I keep feeling I'm missing things. So I love Matas. I adore him. I loved him as a prospect. I mean, I had him like 7 or 8, or like 6 maybe last year. So I think I'd have him top 10 this year. Yeah, I would probably have Modest top 10 this year. I loved his rookie year. I mean, I loved him as a prospect. Like his defense was so encouraging to me, even though he's like weak as shit. But that's a short-term problem, hopefully. And like his driving creation is so awesome. The shooting being improved was encouraging. Like I don't know if Matas is ever going to be like a all NBA guy, but I do think I could see him being like a top 30, top 40 guy at his peak with just like awesome defense plus complementary creation and shooting. And he's not like a good passer at this stage, but there were definitely some flashes. But yeah, I think the ceiling for Matas is not like superstar high. Definitely Con over Reed comfortably. I wasn't huge on Reed, but I definitely prefer Con. Yeah, Modest's shooting questions were so overblown because he was always a great shooter in high school, and he had like one down year at Ignite in a really weird situation. but he was always a better shooting projection guy than he got credit for. But yeah, I think Modest is just like a very overlooked. Like there are scouts that I trust. One of them, my guy Laro, I don't know if he's still in here, but has Modest as like the best guy from that class, and like I don't agree with that, but I respect it. Like it wouldn't shock me if in 5 years Modest was the clear best player from this draft. Like I don't think I wouldn't bet on that. Yes, you are Laro. That's right, and like I could see it. I think people are too hard on Ignite prospects, honestly, just because like the sample is so small, and there are like again like Dyson Daniels ended up being great. I think Scoot's going to be good still. Like Kuminga did stuff in the playoffs. It's really just Jalen Green, honestly, and like Ron and Modest both had awesome. Both had awesome. I don't know if Laro posts a board, but he is on Twitter. Laro, I'll plug you. One sec. Laro's my guy. He's a great high school Bulls fan, but a great like high school scout. But yeah. No, this was a fun game, y'all. Thanks everyone posting their board. Yeah, thanks everyone for hopping on the stream. I'm probably gonna end this one for now. But like, comment, subscribe on all the videos. Always appreciate the support. Like I said, I'm going to have a fears video out within the next week, probably, where I dive pretty deep into why I think he's a really high-level prospect. In terms about Penda's athletic concerns, no, I don't think I'm that concerned about. I think he's going to be fine with his size and his length and his instincts. Yeah. But yeah, I'm probably going to do a video, honestly, on JJ Andrews just because I've had such a good time watching him this last couple weekends in EYBL. And people always like the high school videos I did for whatever reason. Those always get good views. But if anyone has any suggestions, always feel free to comment or send me on Twitter, or YouTube comments, or wherever. But anyways, thanks, y'all. Have a good night and see you later.